Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. I'm Ashley and I am the producer of this show, and we are finally at the final part of our mega episode. I hope you enjoyed the first two parts to this episode, but if you missed either of them, links to both episodes will be in the show notes in the description below. Without further ado, here is the final part of our mega episode. Thank you all so much for listening.
The podcast.
How good do you want your life to be?
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible.
This is Man vs. Marriage.
The podcast.
Yeah, it made me feel like I was actually doing something because I work so much.
Yeah.
And the projects just stack up. And there are things that I need to do. Even for the podcast, I've been so terrible at doing any kind of blog. I don't even know if people read the blog, but it's something that I committed to do and that I failed at. But looking at the things at home, you know, it's...
Home has needed your attention a lot. So we've had to put a lot of stuff kind of on the back burner because we've had some situations come up with the kids that... You know, our kids are teenagers turning into adults, and these are not situations that we could just say, well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We had to stop everything and address the situation. And some of them, we had to have conversation after conversation, days in a row, because we need to make sure our kids are making the right choices.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to make sure that they're informed enough to make their own choice.
Yeah.
And that...
It has been a lot of family... meeting, dynamic, involvement, just heavy conversations and coaching, you know, us as a family through it. It has not been easy at all.
No, but I've had 3 of our kids now randomly at different times, not with each other in the room. You and Dad are relationship goals. That is huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because my parents were not relationship goals for me. I love my mom and dad, but watching what they went through to get to where they are, good God, I'm glad we didn't travel that road.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I don't, even with what you had growing up, I love them all, and I know you do too, but man, I'm so glad we didn't make those turns, you know?
Yeah.
And watching our kids and hearing them talk about us, and, you know, when we tell them, yeah, Dad and I were close to divorcing at one point. You should see the shock that crosses their face because they could never see how we are now. There's no way Dad would ever divorce you. There's no way Dad would ever go anywhere. Why would that even be a conversation? It's like, man, you guys were too little and in diapers to know what was happening at the time. But
we haven't always been these people.
Yeah, trying to get them to understand. We're teaching you now how to be who we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't go through all that crap that we did. You know, you get mad and they throw fits because we're putting so much into rules and structure and, oh my gosh, we are the most hated parents in the world because we have major lockdown on Wi-Fi and social media. But you know what? Our kids are a hell of a lot smarter because they think for themselves. They don't have all that influx information of just shit coming at them on a regular basis. Yeah. You know, we've had conversations where someone made a joke about a gay person, and it was just an off the cuff comment, and our kids just went nuts because there's someone in our life who is gay and married, and to us is family. Mm-hmm. Whether or not anybody agrees with their lifestyle is not it's not the debate. These are people we love and care about. Yeah. And we'll treat them that way, period.
And that's what, you know, we've taught them, whether we agree with the lifestyle or we do not, what we do endeavor to be is people who love and accept people and accept them whether we totally agree with what they do or not. But you're looking at these people as individuals, and you're loving them and supporting them the best that you can.
The same with political views or with religious views. It's like, okay, hear what they have to say, take what you think is important to you or has value to you, and let the rest of it go. There's no point in debating this. Now, if you and the other person agree that you can have a conversation that way and not get wicked about it, fine. But don't engage something knowingly to go start a fight.
Yeah.
And we've had them. I love it when the girls say, when they go to classes or they go places and they see all these other kids that are disrespectful to teachers or other adults, and they're over here going, Mom, I can't freaking stand it. I don't want to be here. I don't know how how kids can talk to adults that way. She's like, I'm in my head over here going, my mama would slap you. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. I would. But it frustrates our kids to see children being disrespectful to adults. Mom win. I taught them that. It doesn't mean they don't talk back or smart off to me, but it does mean that they recognize that it's not right and they change it when they need to. It's a matter of, we decided this year, because things were so crazy with your work, and I know it's hard for you because we have honey-do lists a mile long, and you're trying to make sure that I'm happy and make sure that I don't go into my cave of disappearing act, and you're trying to maintain work and the countless people you have there to keep their mentality and their morale up, and then you come home and you're trying to manage and help with the kids and their mentality and their well-being and their emotional situations. It's okay that we're not as far as we thought we would be with the podcast, or as far as we thought we would be with the books, or as far as we thought we would be with the other goals. We're moving forward with the main goal, and that's our family.
Mm-hmm.
That's primary one. Our family and our marriage trump everything, period. And if people want to get pissy because we don't get an email letter out, or we don't get a blog up, or we didn't get the show notes done in time, those are really small things in the huge ocean that we're dealing with at the moment. We'll get there, but this year, I think, has spun so many people in so many different ways. What's most important to us has stayed what's most important to us.
Yeah. And thankfully, Ashley is so good being our producer. She's always so kind when it's like, oh crap, the show's going tonight and I still owe you notes. I'm so sorry. Oh, no problem. You're good. And I'm thinking, you have to want to just punch me in the teeth. But I understand what you're saying, and the person putting all that pressure on myself about those things that we're not accomplishing with the podcast is
Gorilla.
me. It's me. And it's not a gorilla moment. It's just with all the emails that, we have gotten over the course of this podcast about people separating in their marriage. And I'm thinking, man, if I don't get this out, somehow become a marketing genius to get this out to more men who want to save their marriage, I feel like I'm failing people because I'm not getting the information out. It's not, we're coming up on 10,000 downloads. And that is really exciting to me. Very exciting.
Yeah. I remember we did a happy dance for 500.
Yeah, 500 was the goal. And each goal, we have knocked it down. Maybe it doesn't come as fast, or some days it's like, whoa, people are diving into this stuff. But my concern and the pressure comes to me is, if I don't get better at the backside of this business to get the podcast spread out more effectively, I just feel like I'm letting guys down that might want to know. And that's pressure I'm putting on myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be able to get this out to help more guys. And with our family dynamics, we've met the goal of getting a show out every week without fail. But I just know that this show has capacity, the ability, the opportunity to do so much better and affect more men and relationships. But I'm just not there yet. And it hurts me because it's not like for a money grab. It's for, I know the difference that all these things have made, how being a better man has revolutionized my life and my marriage and me as a father.
Mm.
And the impact that it's had for me wanting fame to build a platform, to me just saying, no, I want to be famous in my family. I want to be, if I make an impact on millions of people outside of this home, but I'm not making an impact on the people that live within this home, I'm a failure.
You're leading by example. That's what you're doing with the podcast. You're giving information and you're helping men find their way, and you're using us as the example. What you're doing here is how all of this works anyway. So don't look at it as failing. In all honesty, you're doing research, dude, because everything that we're going through, every argument that we have, every hard talk we've had, hell, the hard talk we had this year, we never would have survived that if we hadn't learned how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, there's no way we would have survived that. That would have been a deal breaker. I know it would have, because of where our mindsets were at the time. But we're showing people by being the example. Putting it into words, putting it on paper, putting it into a blog, all those things are great and they will come. But the most important part that you have to do right now is make sure that you're getting the show out. Everything else is added bonus. You've got to make sure the show goes out. That's it. We're getting to the other part. We're getting there. I know it's not at the pace that you want. Dude, Angel and Scarlett are both. Angel's complete, or she was. Scarlett is about 60% complete. I still haven't gotten them through full edit yet. And we're going on 1.5 years, almost 2 now. April will be 2 years.
Well, it won't be for Scarlett because
it will be 2 years from the time that we started this adventure. And I planned on having her out by then. She was supposed to be out last year, and it didn't happen. And now I have to go back and restructure, and I'm writing the other one, and the other one's being restructured currently. So I get the frustration. I want this thing done, but I cannot, without having like a whole week to myself with nothing else to distract me. I don't see this ever coming to like, I'm going to have it done on this day. God help me. This is why I don't want a publisher, because there's no way I'm going to lock into a guaranteed, this is the day you have to have it. I can't with the dynamics that we have.
Yeah.
What I can do is keep working until I get it done.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. We're going to keep going until we get to the point we get it done. It will get to what you want it to be. The class you're taking, that's a huge step for you. That's a huge investment in yourself. Okay? We both know that that's going to open doors for you, but it's going to take some time to get that.
Yeah.
So just take it a piece at a time. I'm trying not to come down on myself because I want to get this book out. I want to get it done so friggin' bad. And I can't. Right now, I just can't. My thoughts, my focus has to be home front first. Home team comes first, always.
Yes.
And right now, home team needs us.
They really do.
They're going through so much, and so much has changed, and there are so many unseen things coming. I mean, they came apart yesterday because they got a notice from one of their teachers, or a conversation with one of the teachers, saying that they were told that we would be in virtual learning till possibly January of 2022. I had 4 high school girls that were coming unglued because we're going to be on a computer for the next 1.5 years. And they told us we were only going to have to do it through January. Now they're telling us it goes through the whole year, possibly next year. And they're wigging out. Until I reminded them, well, Dad and I gave you the option. If you want to go to this charter and you want to just book it through high school and move at your own pace, let's do it. If you're done with this, let's find another option. But they're all coming up against stuff that they're having trouble navigating through. And that's where we have to be. The book is going to be late night writing when you're sleeping, most likely.
Yeah.
You know, That's where I struggle with finding time to take care of myself. How do I balance the books that I want to read to improve myself and the podcasts that I prefer watching them than listening to them. But I can't just sit in front of a screen for an hour and watch Ed Milet because I've got autism banging on my door every 10 seconds. You want to see what I'm doing? Come here. You want to sit with me? You want to watch the... I don't have that capacity. So then I start coming down on myself because I'm feeding the gorilla by not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm not feeding the gorilla. I'm taking care of my priority. That's the difference. It's a fine line, and I'm struggling with it too. So I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you. But I'm trying to stay on the focus of I need to focus on the kids, because this time frame in their life, I don't care what anybody tells you. Yeah, the developmental years are when they're little, but the point that they're in now, the world that we're living in now, these are the most impactful years of their life, because we have to teach them to think for themselves. We have to teach them to make the right decision, because we're not always going to be there. I'm a phone call away, but I can guarantee you there's a couple of them that are not going to call me when they get themselves stuck in a situation right away. They're going to wait until they get to the oh shit moment and go, okay, now I need mom.
Yeah.
But we need to prepare them. So hopefully they'll have made enough of a choice that when they get to us, it won't be so bad. It won't be so hard to steer them out of it.
And know when they fall flat on their face that we're going to be here to help.
Oh,
to
no
help
doubt.
them get up and go for it. And, you know, some of the kids I'll humiliate because it just, coaching works great through humiliation. Anyway, I put a lot of pressure on myself because this podcast means so much to me. And that's because the value I place on becoming a new man. And the value that I place on our marriage and walking away from coaching football and to come home and be a dad when things are done at work. And it's, you know, part of me, I have to have this outlet to feel like I'm making a difference. But at the same time, the difference I have to make has to begin here at home. You really only get one shot. And, you know, every day that passes, you know, your time is so limited with your children. Hopefully not limited with my wife, where I'm building, you know, and we're training for that relationship to continue, you know, to keep going and progressing and getting better. So I'm trying not to put so much heat on myself, but it's difficult because it feels like there's so much at stake if I don't.
Well, you have a passion in you, and it's a priority to you to make that happen. At the same time, you have the responsibility and the expectations of a job that is not, right now, is not an easy place to be. Not the company, but the position.
Yeah.
And all of the restrictions that are coming down because of the way the world is running right now. You know, COVID has restricted so many things that it's not the company per se, it's just how the company has to function to get around the rules and the laws that are being made.
Yeah, I would say any boots on the ground position within a business structure right now is just, it's been uncharted waters, period.
Yeah.
And you are having to navigate through all of the uncertainty and be a face of certainty at the same time. And when you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, it's not like when you live in the South and a tornado rips through and it does its destruction, and then the next year when tornado season comes around and another one hits, it's kind of like, we've been through this, we know what to expect. It really sucks and everybody's devastated, but the fact of the matter is, you've been here before, so we all know what the first responders are going to do. We all know where the shelters are. We all know where everybody's supposed to go. It's something that's been prepared year after year after year. This, nobody had a clue. And then everybody's kind of making rules as they go, and our governor here is just, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
That's a good word.
wow. But you're trying to navigate so many different things, and every position you have is a pressure position. So don't put extra pressure on yourself, because your job is doing it, your family is doing it, your health is doing it, because you're trying to fight to get to that goal right now too. This, as long as the podcast is running, we'll get to the other stuff. Write it down, keep it in your book. When we get a chance, throw up a blog. When you have a weekend to sit down, throw one up. Don't make it a mandated everyone's going to go up at this point or this time every month. Just do it when you can. And then build the structure as we go. But for now, just do it as you can. So at least you're still doing what you want to be doing, but without locking yourself into a structure that you absolutely have to meet this. Because then you're just going to keep kicking yourself in the balls, and there's no point. You got enough people punching on you, dude. Let it go.
I'll have to find a happy middle ground.
I'm sure you will. You usually do. It'll take you a little while to come to your place, but you'll get it.
Well, I'm going to say that we should wrap up there.
Sorry, Ashley. We're way over time on this one.
I got a good idea for this show, actually. A really good idea. It came to me on about the third time I looked at the clock saying, oh, my Lord, look at this.
You're in your head going, Ashley's going to kill me. Ashley's going to kill me. I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know what? If you listen to this show and you appreciate this show and it's helped you, send me an email of appreciation to our producer, Ashley, because we put a lot of pressure on her sometimes because of how chaotic our life can be. It's like, Ashley, we're out of shows in the bank. We need to do a show this weekend, and it's Friday. We need to do a show this weekend, and it needs to get up. I'm so sorry. Can you help us? And it's always, yes, 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 she does it.
This is not like a regularly planned studio timed thing. We try to, but life just kind of doesn't let us all the time.
I think since we coordinated calendars, we've been much, much better.
Yeah.
But we still run it right to the edge of the envelope, and she always comes through. She always comes through. So if you want to send a Starbucks card or whatever in appreciation for Ashley, do that. Do that. And we will pass it along, and we will send your letter of appreciation to her. And I think that would go a long way to making me appreciate you appreciating her, if that even matters to you. Which you're a dude checking out this podcast, or you're a sister checking out this podcast, and you want to be the best in the world. Anyway, this has been a very interesting episode. I got a great idea for it. This is the end of it. So if you've listened to this far and what we've made it, you rock. And thank you for listening. And been a long time since we've done just a straight open dialogue. And it was good. It was good for Jeannie to pour her heart out and for me to find out what kind of a grade she would give me. And she's honest. She's going to tell me over the microphone. I may not like what I'm going to hear, but she'll tell me because we have that type of relationship. It runs deep, yo. And I love that shirt. It has got the perfect amount of cleavage, and it says Alabama, and I friggin' love that shirt. You're a hot mama.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. She's Gina Moran. I'm the Q Dog, Quincy Moran, and this is Man versus Marriage.
The podcast. How good do you want your life to be?
You gotta live on purpose, for a purpose.
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible. This is Man vs. Marriage, the podcast.